What up, everyone? Thank you for coming back to my channel. I do appreciate it, as usual. Just want to share some thoughts about growing up in a fatherless home. Yeah, my dad, he was not around when I was growing up. And I do wholeheartedly, 100%, I believe that if that one thing had been different in my life would be 100% different right now. I would be a totally different person. And that's how, if you understand everything that's happened in my young life, you would understand why I wholeheartedly always say that fathers are needed in young men's lives, especially young black men. And not that fathers are needed any less in kids who aren't black, but because the black youth right now are, and for a good number of years, have suffered from single parent homes and the results that came from that. Black youth, black men are needed more than ever. I needed my dad when I was growing up. And, I can think all the way back to when I was 12 years old, getting picked on in school and, feeling like I wasn't cool. Didn't have any siblings. Couldn't fight. Girls didn't like me, nothing like that. And I remember at 12 years old saying to myself, like, I want to be one of the kids. At the time I was looking at the other kids. I want to be one of those kids that can fight. I want to be one of those kids that other kids are afraid of, that other kids look up to. They gather around when these kids walk up. I want to be one of those kids. I want to be a kid that the girls like, that they run up to and talk to and all that. And I can remember 12 years old, just kind of deciding. I didn't understand what I was deciding, but I had decided that I was going to do what I saw the cool kids doing. And, by 14, I was skipping school, smoking weed. And then, it just got worse from there. But, I think back to how my mom says it all started. And I can just imagine, okay, they weren't really together, and so they were just fucking around, which means that obviously I was an accident, was not planned, was not expected, so my mom got pregnant, told my dad. She said my dad was like, who? What? Not my kid. And proceeded to tell his parents that, because my mom was going to the church that my dad's dad was the bishop of, and they presided over it, so that family. So proceeded to tell his mom and dad that my mom was going to come and tell them a lie about me being his child, and they believed him. And even after I was born, my granddad, my dad's dad, from what my mom said, he apologized because I looked like my dad when I was a baby, when he was a baby, and my granddad couldn't deny it. But he still had nothing to do with me, and my mom says she believes it's because my dad's mom, my grandmother on my dad's side, didn't want, and she wouldn't accept the fact that I was her grandchild. I don't know if she just didn't like my mom, or maybe she felt like because my mom was older than him, that my mom was trying to, trap her son or something like that. And so even though my granddad came to my mom and apologized, my dad still wasn't made to be in my life by my granddad, who was the bishop of the church, and his mom, who was whatever the bishop's wife, whatever that title is. She was like, hell no, he's not my grandchild, over my dead body, all these types of things. And so she supported my dad not being a father to me. And my mom constantly throughout the years, she would tell me about, as I got older, how when I was a kid I would cry for my dad and all this stuff. And there were times he did like pop in and out, but for the majority of my life he wasn't there. Had no impact. I got nothing from him. He passed away, by the way. When he passed away, we were on speaking terms and stuff like that. I had just basically said, I'm gonna try and get to know him a little bit, and he ended up having cancer. But I realized as I sat and talked with him, the times that I did, the time that I spent with him, we were so different. It was nothing alike. I got nothing from him. I don't feel like I looked like him. My mom says that I do, but everyone says that I look like my mom. But anyhow, I don't really, and it just, I think about, the fact that he died, and I have a half sister from him also. He left neither of us nothing. And for me, he was married to my half sister's mom. But for me, I don't even have, I literally have nothing from him other than the little bit of time that I spent with him, the years that I, had been out of prison up until he died. And so when I think back and I look at my life, I say, man, now the way that I am now, the life that I led, that I lived growing up where I grew up, and everything that happened, my perspective and everything, all that would be different if my dad was around, because I'm sure that I would have emulated him or been made to some degree, especially since he was in the church heavy because his dad was a bishop. I was taken to church by my mom, but I'm sure it would have been even more. Also, just everything would have been different. I would have been a totally different person. My life would have been completely different. And I'm willing to bet all the chips on the table that I would not have gone to prison. I wouldn't. Now, I may, be in some other situation in life, just unhappy, which I'm not unhappy now. Who knows? But I believe 100% I would not have gone to prison had my dad been around, because I know for a fact that looking back on my life, what I really wanted was to be cool, was to fit in, was to be accepted, was to be liked. And no dad really male figure around. My mom had a boyfriend here or there, but guys aren't really trying to take a kid under their wing that isn't theirs. Not fully a lot of times, They'll obviously do things with me and for me, but they're not taking on the responsibility of giving a little boy the life lessons and knowledge to become a man, and the perspective and all that. So I got my perspective of what I wanted to do from the TV, and that just unluckily for me was what I was drawn to was gangster rap. and that lifestyle and everything they talked about. Because I felt like, looking on the TV, these guys got the jewelry, they have the clothes, they have the women, they have the cars, they have the life, they have the respect of everyone. Everyone loves them everywhere they go. They're smoking weed all the time. I was like, I want to do that. And, obviously, as a kid, you feel like, well, if I'm going to be that, I need to live that life. And, school to prison pipeline. It's funny. A lot of the kids that I went to high school with ran right into them in prison. All of us around the same age, too. It wasn't even like, I ran into these guys 10 years. It was very, very soon. Wow, that was a hell of a lightning blast. God damn. Yeah, I ran into them, all around the same age, 19, 20. It was wild. All of us without fathers, too. All of us grew up either in a single parent home, or the father was, in no position, maybe mentally to raise a son into a productive, successful man. And so kids end up in prison. But anyhow, I try not to lay blame, really. I try not to just say, okay, well, my life is, or turned out the way I turned out this way because of dad. I try not to do that. I do 100% say that there was a big impact that he could have had on my life that would have had a big impact on how I turned out and where I am now. But one thing I can say is that I don't have any kids yet. I am married, but no kids. And I believe the reason I never had kids, or I was very careful, was because I always just felt within me that I didn't want to have a kid that I wasn't ready to have. And I also told myself that any kid, if I ever have a child, whether it's expected or not, I'm going to be there for the child, no matter what the situation, no matter what I have to do. And so now I definitely believe I'm ready mentally, because years leading up to now, I felt like I would have definitely been present, but could I have made the impact that would be needed for a child, especially in today's time? I feel like now, but who knows? Maybe I'm not. We'll have to see. But anyway, I guess I just want to watch a son of mine, and if it's a daughter, hey, but I'm just speaking, watch a son of mine grow up with the guidance that I wish I would have had, and thus basically live the life that I should have lived. Be successful like I should have been successful, and have the life that he wants to have. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my son, when I'm gone, talking about me, saying how much of an impact I had on his life in such a positive way. And had it not been for me, he doesn't feel like he would be where he is today, or she. Unlike me, I can't say anything like that about my dad. I can't laud any praises on him. And now, you know, his mom is still alive, and you know, she's come around, never apologized for anything, but she's just tried to basically act like it's whatever. But she'll send me a text message, you know, on my dad's birthday of this, you know, heartfelt message about remembering him. And you know, I'm always okay. That's it's your son and the memories you had with him. But you seem to not remember that I don't have many fond memories of my dad because he was not around. I can't say or name one thing I got from him, one impact he had on my life. And you know, I really feel like it's just a shame that men are okay having children roaming around the earth from them that get nothing from them and have nothing good to say about them. And men are just okay with that, like, you know, whatever. But anyway, I could go on about this forever, but I'm not. I appreciate you for listening, whoever listened all the way through. Thank you for coming back to my channel. I do appreciate it. Please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe. I do appreciate it. As always, we have to stay safe and stay free.